Bit of a strange start to a video, that very quiet. And the reason is because my new partner that's all I can think to call her, is asleep there and I don't want to wake her up. It's really, really early here. It's only 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm here in the Philippines and I haven't been posting videos of what things I've been doing and stuff because I broke my phone, which has got a really high quality camera on it, and it does the videos. So unfortunately, I can't make videos of what I'm doing here in the Philippines. But here I am, and I have a house here for the next 24 hours because I'm going back to England. And I'm going to then start doing some teaching, and I'm going to head on down to Portugal and start my other project. The things I plan to do in the Philippines for family reasons haven't been successful. It's just not worked out. People have got in the way, and that's the way it is with the Philippines. So everything's kind of done on a sort of consensus. Um, just haven't got all the balls lined up in the right way. Things just don't happen. Anyway, this is the scene from the back bedroom. Apple, my partner there, is asleep in that room. That's the other bedroom that you just saw. And this is the back bedroom, which is the one that we started sleeping in when we first came here. The place is empty because I've got all the furniture and sent it up to her family province, and I'm getting ready to leave tomorrow. So as we're looking out to the back of the house here, you can see it's a sort of ramshackle, lot of window roofs and all sorts of stuff. It's anarchic looking, and I like it. I like it for that, you know. Um, a lovely time of day. I've been getting up earlier and earlier and earlier, and it's so cool and nice. Um, and I usually go up to the bank, take a walk to the bank in the morning if I have to go to the bank. But this is the sala, we call the sala in the Philippines, which is the living room, as best I can do it. Um, very, very big houses. So you might wonder how much this thing costs. It's 150 UK pounds. There's the staircase there. There's that short. There's a little sort of area at the back here, which is the same, it's parallel to the bedroom that I've just been in. There's kind of a sink here, like a rubbish collected here, ready to be thrown out. And you know, if I had stayed here, I could have made this a little bit of a study or something. The plan was I was gonna hole up here in the Philippines for the best part of 2 years in order to build a boat and build some tiny houses on Talikod Island. As I say, that all got scuppered in an argument with my sister-in-law, who didn't want me to do it or didn't approve of Apple, who she had introduced me to, and so it never happened. So I have to move on because I've got to be doing things. I have to be doing things. I'm not intent in this life to just sit around on my backside on a rocking chair, even though I'm retired, and just do nothing with my life. You know, I want to have a life that has meaning and it changes the world in even in some small way. So anyway, talking about changing things in some small way, I have these plants here on the balcony which are being grown. I've been trying to grow. This is what they call a camote, which is just a sweet potato. They produce an awful lot of foliage, so I like it just for what it is. They don't have a very high regard for it, but to me, it seems like a very nice ornamental plant. And you can actually eat the leaves as well. So really, that's a successful outcome as far as I'm concerned. The particular thing I'm into in the Philippines is bougainvillea. I'm a bit obsessed with these things. And I've been growing this thing. And I've got a whole load more flowers downstairs, which are ready to be dispatched. Um, so anyway, um, opposite, there's a lot of work going on that house there. That's an amazing sort of collection of God knows what. There's a little tiny house thing on the top there. There's a balcony, then there's an upstairs balcony. And whether that was planned that way or not, I don't know, or whether it just sort of evolved that way. But I kind of like it. They have this habit in the Philippines of just building higher and higher. And I don't know what the limit is. But this thing is already 3 stories high. For the people who live next to it, like those there, normally that would cause howls of protest, because people would be getting shaded by the house, but they don't seem to be bothered with things like that here. Anyway, when you look out the front of the house on the balcony, there's a scene there. There's a hill line on the other side of Davao there. I'm in Davao, by the way. It's my Filipino home, and there's this outline of sort of forest and trees and stuff, and telegraph poles and whatever they are, and communication poles and things. And it's awfully reminiscent of Coimbra. And it's kind of odd because it causes you to kind of miss the other place because it reminds you of it all the time. Well, I'm not going to have to miss Coimbra for very long because I'm going to be down there. And I will be its master because I'm going to have a bicycle and then I'll be able to get around, which I could never do when I was in Portugal before. So looking down the street, I have to be careful I don't drop this. There's my street. And it's been a long time since I've been back to the Philippines. And one notable thing here is the appearance of plants and flowers and stuff in the streets. And why is that good? Well, that to me like symbolizes the fact that the place is becoming more affluent. 25 years ago, it was just after the Marcos regime had left power, and it had 2 presidents in. It was under Ramos at the time, and he was just trying to get the place going again and building golf courses and running around the world trying to drum up trade. Just doing the things that I thought at the time that's about all you can do. Um, and since then, and particularly under Duterte, the place has prospered. So people are now interested in things they can they can lift their head up from the daily grind, and they're interested in things like having nice houses like that, and flowers and trees and stuff. So the environment is probably going to start to improve here. In fact, it is because they're cleaning out the rain gullies are being cleaned out on a daily basis. People around doing something, and the whole neighbourhood is becoming better. It's I used to live just about 100 meters from here, and it it was very poor, very very poor, and now that particular house is very well, done out, and in fact it's really rather fancy. So I don't know what my face looks like since my last video, but everybody's telling me I've lost a load of weight. So if that's true, that's great. I'm gonna have to show you. Um, I, I'm a teacher, and I'm all about empowerment. and doing things and knowing stuff. Knowledge is power, as a teacher once said to me. And learning new skills and trying things differently and so on. So I had this idea. We have a logging ban here in the Philippines. It's difficult to get hold of lumber. And even the culture stuff, legitimate, it's hard to get. So eventually I have found a source of lumber, but it's mahogany, which is very nice to work with, but it just turns brown. So everything you're going to make is going to be really, really dark brown. So if you put a lot of that in your house, you're going to have a really dark house. So I got this idea. Why not try cocoa lumber? Everybody tells you cocoa lumber is terrible stuff. And being that it was the only thing I could get, I'll I'll try it. So here's my advice on making things out of cocoa lumber. I would basically say, unless you're absolutely desperate, don't. But I made this rustic style um, coffee table. And it took me ever to build this thing. So here it is. Now, I'm using a computer to do something that I would normally use a camera for. So there's the coffee table. And parts of the wood are red. And I wanted to dye it with cheddar wood dye. And I cannot, no matter what, get a hold of any cheddar wood dye. So what I did, not to be beaten, there's the top of the table. Not to be beaten, I got a hold of some ball pens and dissolved them in rubbing alcohol, and so I took the red dye out of the ball pen and then painted it up on the wood, and I got that result. So it's kind of an interesting looking thing. It needs to be polished because this is rather a matte finish. So there you go. If you can't get a hold of wood dyes, take the dye out of a ballpoint pen, and it seems to be holding fast, so it's not too bad. Anyway, let's have a look in the front bedroom. The way we've lived in this house, this is the bathroom. Uh, the way we've lived in this house, it's a big bathroom, really big bedroom. This front bedroom is enormous. Remember, you're getting all this for £150, which is 10,000 pesos in the Philippines. I've never known a house with so many cupboards. We've never filled the cupboards. Never ever put enough stuff in to fill these things. You're looking for this paintbrush. I'm going to put some polish on another project I've made. So I'll use that paintbrush. That's very useful. So there's a view out again up the balcony. It's an aircon unit hole, which doesn't have an aircon unit in. I'm so glad this house doesn't have aircon because man, that can rank your electricity costs. So in this place, um, what we do is we move around from room to room according to which particular room is the coolest at the time to live in. So I'm sure everybody probably wants to see Apple. I'm not going to because Apple's a decision whether she wants to be on video or not. And so I'll just leave her asleep. So anyway, moving downstairs. Um, we had a tremendous, there's water on the floor in some places because we had a tremendous, absolutely unbelievable rainstorm last night, hammered down, and some of the windows leaking, let a little bit of water in, we just smoke it up. I don't care about that. It's not my home, and I'm not. I'm going to start fixing that sort of thing. Right now, this thing is a chair, as best I can show it on this camera, that I constructed out of mahogany, and it sort of evolved because I I've got these like sponge beds that they fall down. You lie them on the floor and then you sleep on, and then they can fold up again, and you can use them as a chair. I don't like them because they're too low, but they are very cheap and they're very convenient. And so what I did is I constructed this chair to hold the thing so that then it wouldn't be so low, and I could give it to my new girlfriend. And there's a reason for all this woodwork, because I wanted to demonstrate to her that I could actually do things, because I built a tiny cabin on the land. It's in my stream of videos. I built a tiny cabin, scrap wood, leftover wood from companies, and some pallet wood in there, just to test ideas out, which were going to be applied to Tallycud and then got stopped because of this incident. And the idea is if I could make her a nice chair, and everybody's telling me, oh, why, why don't you just buy something at the shop? That's the answer to everything in the world: buy, buy, buy. And the trouble with that, it makes you a helpless person, because then you can't do things. When you need to make a chair, you need to know how to make a chair or a house or anything. When you get in a situation where you need it, you need to learn a skill before you start, before the emergency occurs. Because there may be a time in your life when you've got no money, which I'm entering into now. This is why I've got to go back to the UK and start to teach. When you need these skills. So I'm going to get a really good shot side of this. And I've watched an awful lot of Japanese videos, and it's difficult. It's Laptops weren't invented to make videos with, but as I say, the um, phone is smashed, and I'm getting that fixed in the UK. So then the video quality. So I I was going to do a lot of complicated joints, and I've discovered that you can get away with a thing called a half lap joint. So this thing is all full of half lap joints. It's all very well to be like clever, like Stumpy Nubs or Mr. Chickadee on YouTube, but you do have to get the job done. So I've discovered that the half lap joint is is the one that works for me if I need to get stuff done. And later on, I might do these castle joints and all that stuff when I've got plenty of time and in Portugal. I've got an unlimited supply of wood in Portugal because they've got eucalyptus wood down there. Unfortunately, it tends to move in service. It's not very stable, but I'm working on that problem. I'll figure out a way around it. But anyway, that's the job. Little rustic touches, live edge here. This I could have sanded this out, but it's a saw mark from the chainsaw, because everything you get in the Philippines, you don't get dimensioned lumber. You just get chainsaw lumber. So you then have to cut it and machine it into shape. Now, because I have no dimension lumber, I've had to do this all with a hand circular saw. Saw it that way. Okay. That's the chair. And as a consequence of this, the my partner's mother is rather impressed with me, and she then starts to listen to me more when I say, "Oh, do this, or do that, or do the other," because I am still trying to build houses here. And I've now got involved in a project in Agutan, a difficult place for me because there are MPLA, New People's Liberation Army, or whatever, or New People's Army, terrorists basically, operating there, who will kidnap you. So I have to limit my exposure to that place. So what I need is to come up with an idea where I just tell them what to do and they do it. Because they're not going to get kidnapped, because they don't kidnap Filipinos because you're not going to make much money at that. It's the foreigners that are the tasty one. So that's the chair project. Right, let's go outside. 22 minutes long, but I haven't put a video for a long time. I have to explain what I'm doing because a lot of this is for my family. Okay, so this is the house. Ang bahay natin ito. This is our house. Ang bahay namin ito. It's not your house, it's my house. So there, big garage, which is my workshop. Flowers up the top that I just showed you. And also in here are all the flowers stacked up, ready to go. Yeah, they're ready to go. I discovered that it's very difficult to grow some vegetables here, particular varieties. You've got to use particular varieties of tomatoes, for example. They just don't like the heat. So that's the thing to be aware of. Right, now, this is ang bahay ng kapitbahay natin. Namin. This is the house of our neighbor. And I said, good morning. Magandang umaga, ate. Sa YouTube ka. Yeah, ito yung movie para sa YouTube. Video. Sa YouTube siya. Ikaw yung YouTuber na yun. Yeah? Okay, so that's it. This is our street. And I've managed to make the video. I've made the video of where I live and what I'm doing and so on. And I'm going to make another one separate about my old house and why what the guy has done there is very good. Why it's changed for the better. Just a quick look down the street. It's a very nice place to live here, and very nice people. Yeah, it's a very nice country, very nice people. My gripes about the country are the fact that you just can't own a home or land here or become a citizen. So it's basically, it's a club, mate, and you ain't in it. And that's a reality you've got to live with. So you basically live here as a visitor all the time. Whereas Portugal, they don't do that. They're allowing you in. It's a club, you ain't in it, but you can join it. And you can't do that here. So you have to take this place on a sort of spiritual basis, you have to say, well, I belong here because of my relationship with people. And magandang umaga. Magandang umaga, sir. Video ito para sa alis na ako sa
Yung vlog.
para sa YouTube ko, para sa YouTube channel ko.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, maganda ang mga bulaklak mo. Yeah, the flowers are very beautiful. A lot of them have been chopped down and stuff because they've been clearing drains here and I had to have access for it. So they've been chopping it all up. I say it's very early in the morning. And
Maingay ang aso.
oh, sige na. Yeah, and that's it. So it's becoming a lot better place to live in, more livable. Because the drains are getting cleared more. We've got less mosquitoes. Just life is much better here now. And unfortunately, the prices of property have gone shot through the roof. At one time, I could have bought a house for next to nothing here, and so it's skyrocketed. But strangely enough, my house in Portugal apparently has gone up 85%. So that's not so bad. And there you go. So Wagner, enough already. Okay, and I will make a new video about my other house where I used to live and what the guy's done to it and why some of those ideas are really good and some of them are capable of being better. Something to do with the James Webb Telescope. Okay. Paalam. Sige na. Paalam para sa ngayon. Bye-bye for now.